To know someone. Sex from a Christian perspective is an act of knowing the other person, so sex can be seen as an intimate act of knowing someone. If I say I know my wife differently than I know my daughter or son, we all understand what that means. It's common knowledge that there are different kinds of knowing. We can know someone or something by intuition. Like I can know how cold it would be in Alaska during the winter time, though I have never been to Alaska. But I can imagine it, believing that it could be cold during the winter. So there is a knowing just by intuition, but there also is a knowing which is by experience. Actually experiencing something for myself. I know Alaska is cold during the winter because I have been there and remember the feeling. Jesus used this word to know. In describing his relationship with his Father, Jesus knew his Father and his Father knows him. Matthew 11:27. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Remember the chapter before. Jesus also talked about the Father being in him, upon him, and with him as well. Here we get the idea that Jesus and the Father know each other in an experiential way that is quite special. The Christian view of sex gets its idea from this intimate knowing of what is called the Godhead, or as many of you know it, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Here lies the incredible origin of the intimacy of knowing. The three persons of the Godhead know each other in a special way, which happens to be reflected in our lives every day. As we live in family units, we act as one family, yet with many parts to it. And all of us in familial closeness are thoroughly acquainted with one another. This is what the idea of knowing is in Matthew 11:27. Jesus is fully acquainted with the Father in all ways. This family structure, if you can believe it, comes from the unique one God of the Bible. He is the first cause to which we reflect this image. We don't just do family randomly, there is a design. Try wrapping your head around that a bit, but it's not something most Christians think about, nor do they have to. When the Bible speaks of those having sex with one another, the word know is used, and went into, as already mentioned. To know someone can mean sexual intimacy, just like going into someone. Genesis 4:1, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Having sex with someone is an act of knowing. Even if you don't think the sexual encounter is intimate, it is. There is no sexual act that is not an act of knowing, and that does not give testimony of the Creator's handiwork.